Boom, you looking for this?
Welcome back to BoomShot. Mikael, this is Colby.
Yes, sir.
And one of the more exciting shows coming out this year, that's a really hard statement to say.
It's a big year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good shows coming out. But Andor is releasing April 22nd. We are less than a month away from that now, which is crazy. And we just got an official teaser, or I say teaser, it's only a
Teaser length, but yeah, official trailer.
It's an official trailer. It came out yesterday, so we're getting to it now. So let's go ahead and watch this starting now.
I came with you to be part of something.
Alright, this is big, dude. I can
I can hear it though.
The Empire cannot win.
Do you remember that trailer? Ooh,
It's a different kind of mission.
we reacted to with the drum.
Dude, that was sick.
If it goes up in flames, it will burn very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win.
Yeah.
We have to. We
We
must stand together. We will be crushed.
Resistance is absurd.
Oh, hey, dude.
It's a weapon. They're building a weapon. The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the same.
Pedro.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
There's a future here for those who dare. Welcome to the rebellion.
Dude, with the siren going off in the background. Reminds me of Rogue One, too.
Peak.
That's fire,
Peak.
bro.
Man, there's something about kind of a gritty Star Wars that we've been needing.
Yeah, season 1 very well might be the best Star Wars show, live action Star Wars show.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Mandalorian. I like Ahsoka. I like a lot of the shows, but it just something about it, like you said, it just felt like I got very invested in the story.
I think the way that I would put it is it felt real, like in a way, like, and I'm having a hard time. This has been a crisis of mine for the last few years now. Like, were like the Marvel movies that we grew up with and the Star Wars movies we grew up with, were they always that bad and we were just young and didn't know it, or were they really good and things have just progressively got worse? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that.
Yeah. I'll go back and watch some of the movies,
and
and
they're good.
They're still bangers.
Yeah, they're bangers, and so I feel like it's just things have gotten progressively. I don't know what it is about it, but Andor captures that, like, that grit that we haven't seen in a while.
It reminds me of like the Punisher or the Penguin, where you have something set in a superhero science fiction world, but none of them have powers.
Dude, yes.
It's like this.
But not even the main characters are there. Like, you know, you're thinking like in the Penguin, you're thinking, where's Batman at? But he never shows up.
Yeah, it's the same thing with this. We know it happens with Andor, and we're building up to that. But we're in a world full of lightsabers and Jedis, which are awesome. But nobody in this show has that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you got Saw Gerrera, you got Cassian Andor.
Yeah.
You got the
Luthen.
gang. You got Luthen Rail, dude. You got all. You got some blasters. You got
Yeah.
some people with blasters and grit.
Yeah, and a plan. Like,
Yeah.
and I just think, like,
Literally, the plans to the Death Star.
yeah, literally. Like, I think that was what makes it so interesting is, like, maybe a good trailer conveys the motivation of a movie, and I feel like watching that 22-second trailer, I felt the motivation for Andor. He says they can't win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to keep them from winning. And I'm like, that's a story I can get behind.
Do you think we see Jen Erso?
Dude, that would be crazy.
That would be crazy. But I feel like in Rogue One they meet for the first time, right? But maybe we could see her, and you know, in a separate part where they don't actually meet. We just catch up with her.
I wonder if we see what's his face, Caecilius. I know that's not his name, but what was Galen Erso? Sorry, the same guy who plays Caecilius in Marvel.
Imagine we see Caecilius.
That'd be crazy. I wonder if we see Galen Erso, because he is heavily involved with the. I mean, obviously he created Death Star. You know, like, in a way.
It would be cool if Krennic like just walks over and is like talking about the plans, or like how's it coming, and then we just see him. We pan over to him.
Dude, I'm really excited to see Krennic back in this too.
Yeah, he's gonna be great. Very, very the villains in this show were great in season 1.
Yeah,
like just very like domineering.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could feel their force on the little guy.
Yeah.
And that's what the Empire is.
And I always make fun of this era of Star Wars because I'm like the Empire had like billions and billions of soldiers. Like they had billions and billions of stormtroopers. Like how in the world did the rebellion win? And I always kind of like I thought the rebellion was kind of a joke. But I'm interested to see this because this feels like guerrilla warfare. But like they're doing something, you know. I'm really interested, but it just feels there's like I can't really describe it. There's a level of realism to this that I don't feel like has existed in other live action Star Wars shows.
Something that rings out to me is when he was in prison. The prison. I mean, that whole arc was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But we were watching them build these parts, and we didn't really know what it was for.
Mm-hmm.
And then the episode where it shows, it getting shipped to the Death Star,
Mm-hmm.
like we were focused on a little tiny parts for the Death Star. But it was a big plan, like for the big plans, and it tied in. But we were focused on the minute details.
Yeah,
and a crew.
And it wasn't like that.
prison.
Those minute details were only to get us to the big reveal. It was they sold us on the minute detail, and then it paid off later.
Yeah, they could have been building a speeder, dude. Now been like, I'm sold.
Yeah, I know because it was just good.
And then it was the Death Star, and I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, but I think about like sci-fi shows. Like we just finished watching Severance. I'm like, that's a sci-fi show with some ridiculous like. Like I think about the last episode with choreography and merriment, and like there's just the entire episode is just centered around this marching band playing. That should not work, but it does.
Yeah.
Like there's something about like the risk, but also the realism of it. Like it just feels so off the wall that it works.
Yeah.
And I feel like Star Wars feels a little too like it feels. I feel like it's leaned.
You gotta have some build up.
Yeah, but also feel like it leans too much into what it's known for, and that's a problem sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of times you gotta come up with new ways to make the old things work.
To capture the magic that you had, but you can't always use the same way to do that.
Yeah.
You got to think of new ways, and I feel like Andor does that. That's all that to say. I feel like Andor it really nailed that. Like I'm just sitting there watching this, I'm like. There's a level of realism, there's a level of grit, but also, like, I feel like I'm in the world because everything looks so real. Like, it doesn't look cheap, it looks legit.
Yeah, and you're following a guy. He's just really a guy who didn't even really want to help to begin with, but then he saw what the Empire was doing himself personally and what it was doing to other people. And now, like you said, he's like, I can't let this happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a mission. And so you can really put yourself in his shoes more so than, maybe some other characters.
Well, we will see. I believe this is releasing 3 episodes at a time. Correct?
That's another thing, man. And every 3 episodes is like a couple of years or something, or a year.
Yeah.
A year apart. Which is pretty cool.
It's a different approach to a show, but I also think like that's what made the first series so good.
Yeah, it was arcs.
It was little arcs built into like that still tied together for an overarching story, but it was like in segments, I guess. And so I always thought that was really interesting because especially if they're gonna release it 3 episodes at a time, I'm like, dude, let's hunker down, let's watch this. Like this is gonna be great. Like
it's gonna be in for a ride. Dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be like watching a mini movie.
A movie every week.
Yeah, and there's just I don't know. I feel like Andor maybe has kind of started a new formula for Star Wars.
Yeah, I hope so, man, because like this will be my final point. I mean, we could talk about this all day, but I like how like when we were watching season 1 and then he gets arrested like halfway through the season, I'm like, well, what's gonna happen?
Where do you go from here? Yeah,
and then they give us the best arc in possibly years for Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, it's cinema.
Yeah, it really was. It really was cinema. I mean, I guess Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7 came out in 2020, right? I think it was 2020.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so that was the best Star Wars arc we had seen in 3 years, probably by that point, because it came out in 2023.
It's so good, man.
I don't know, dude. I'm sold on this, man. I feel like it's gonna be really good, and so I'm excited for it. But let us know what you guys think. Are you excited for Andor?
Andor.
Andor season 2. What's the line that Luthen says? I burned myself for Sunrise I Can Never Watch or something like that.
Sunrise.
Yeah, it was a bar. But see, great dialogue. I mean,
that's one of the best monologues in history.
Yeah, I guess great monologue too. Dialogue, monologue. It's all gonna be good. But let us know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.